Welcome to DTM TV, Enyanya, and this is your host Elijah Meru reporting to you live from the city of Calling, and I am Elijah Meru. Right now I have my brother from another mother, my own friend, Michael Kobina, who lives with me here and who works with me as well. He's a very busy human being, but we have him today in line here so that we can discuss a little bit about what is happening on the continent. My brother, Michael, how are you?
I'm very fine, thank you, Elijah, and thank you for having me on the program once again.
Thank you so much for accepting my invitation, and I'm here to discuss with you quickly about the issue of the handling of the coronavirus in Africa. We have just listened on a report from one mainstream media, as they are called. This media is wondering about what is happening in Africa because they have predicted and they have projected that the continent of Africa will be suffering and it will have a chaos after this coronavirus came about. And now 2 months later, they're shocked that things are under control on the continent. What do you think is the reason why this happened, that whatever was prophesied against the continent did not happen, if you can say it in some few words?
Thank you very much, my brother. But the whole truth of the matter is that Africa has always been exploited in every way, shape, and form possible to suit the Western agenda. All the statistics that have over the years been given about us with regards to viruses and diseases and sicknesses and hunger and all these things were fictitious. Most of them do not match with the realities on the ground. And in this way, it was the same thing, but mostly all the tactical approach that they used to use before were the same system, but they forgot that the Africa they knew have still most of these old puppets as head of state or president, as they call them. But the youth, the new African is the youth who is very much informed, who is very much enlightened, and who has read meanings into all these strategic approaches of the West. And therefore, they are pushing back in every way, shape, and form. That's why the reality is dawning on them in this way.
Could it be then because the youth, like the population of Africa, as this report was saying, they were wondering, is very young. The mean age of the African is around 25 years. And so these young people do not listen to BBC or CNN or France 24 and all this nonsense. And they have their own way of informing themselves. So manipulating and trying to play with their minds is no longer the same as they used to do some 10 years ago.
Yes, very, very, very much so. Now most of these African youth have these gadgets in their hands where they can find their own stories, find their own information, and also be able to sort them out, the fake from the genuine. Prior to previously, which wasn't like that, and therefore the new African is very much informed in his own way. Whenever news breaks out about something that is going on, everybody just sees them first on from the media through the Facebooks and the other social applications, but they compare and contrast with their own local situation.
Like one young boy who is doing a very great job in Africa happens to come from Ghana, the village boy, as he calls himself, Wodemaya, and he's saying that this COVID-19 was a blessing in disguise for the continent of Africa. What do you think he meant by that?
Of course, it was a blessing, or it is a blessing in disguise, in the way that it has exposed our enemies very much well. It has exposed those who have all these years pretended to be with us, but never with us, but for themselves.
It has exposed their hypocrisy, right?
Yes, especially our so-called new friend China. It has exposed them big time, and now Africans knows that, oh, really, China was also in to perpetrate the same crimes that our previous colonizers did, and therefore.
So we were wrong by thinking China is any different from our former colonizers, weren't we?
We were definitely wrong. Yes.
In this line, the president of Tanzania, he didn't say where was this kit made, but he said that there were some kits and masks which were donated to the country of Tanzania, and then happening to be infected themselves, and the kits that they had when they started making this testing and cases going up and up, the president was worried and did some experiment, realizing that these kits are not even working. We had even a report from India as well that the kits at 96% are not working, they're faulty, and all over other places. Are these Chinese exploiting this situation?
Of course, they are. It is something that they wanted to use, I think, to put a whole big grip on the world's economy. But Africa, as we said, the African of today, the youth of today are speaking and are talking, and now a few of our leaders are beginning to sit up, because previously, like in the case of HIV, Africa was made to only sit down and wait.
And wait for other people to bring solutions, right?
Yes. The African youth of today is telling them, the leaders, that you ought to think outside the box and stop sitting on your big bellies waiting for a so-called Western solution for our home problems. Because problems can never be solved by the Western powers as they claim to be.
Because we had the president of France, and we had even Muyembe in Congo trying to say that they were waiting for the vaccine to come from outside, and we had, like, the president of France also was threatening to punish those countries which will refuse to get this vaccine. And then before they knew it, the president of Madagascar announced that they have a cure for this for this corona. And what do you think? And shockingly, the World Health Organization, which was supposed to welcome this news, is like fighting the same, even without trying to prove if it's working or not. What's going on?
Yes, that's right. The African of today is widely awake. It's wide awake in the sense that we are not sitting down, and the youth are pushing the heads to act, to save a population that is so young and so vibrant, that can do and think in many ways for our own progress. And that is what is exactly going on, because the WHO and all these organizations are only tools to propagate the agendas of the West.
Come on.
Nothing African will be accepted. Nothing African is good. But when the people themselves get to know that everything African is good for themselves and works for them, and start to ignore the Western solutions, then they will have nothing but to turn the Westerners turn around and keep on pushing the heads to go in their own way. But some of these heads are also beginning to stand up against them, because back in the days when coups were the order of the day, when they were either eliminated or killed in silence without the African knowing, currently the youth knows that this could happen when my president takes this course. But I am ready to fight for him to take that course. Either he takes that course or we get him out ourselves.
Talking about the youth, even the president of Madagascar happens to be a youth. He is below 50. He's below 50. He first became president at the age of 34. And he was not... why wasn't he afraid of facing these multinational pharmaceutical companies or World Health Organization? And he stood up as a man and came up, announced this medicine and started administering it to his people. And countries like Benin coming also to take their own part. But other leaders of Africa did not show like they were so much excited about the same. Why do African leaders not listen to what their population are saying? Yes,
because most of them were controlled and were living by the book. Most of them were specifically trained to become politicians, and in everything that you get training for, you live by the rules and regulations of that training. And that is by the book. So that is why if we even compare it with a Westerner who is also not trained politician like Donald Trump, you can most often see him going contrary to what is written in the books. Because he's not a trained politician. He's a businessman, a celebrity, a fashionist, and all that. But those who are trained back in the days, like those bourgeoisies who were trained by the French, see themselves as the French, and they live by the book. But currently, like with this Madagascan youthful president, most of these who are coming because they can see the plight of the African youth. And they come in with the zeal and the intent to just change the plight of the African youth. That is why they are coming in and doing some things different, as we are seeing now, whereby not waiting for their Western so-called superpowers or whatever to come up with solutions, but they beginning to do and make homegrown solutions for our own African problems.
Talking about homegrown solutions, we can't be proud enough as the president of Tanzania was complaining about the kits and the other parts of the world, the kits which were supplied from outside. The youth of Senegal came up with this brilliant idea of making their own kits, and which are very, very efficient, testing in giving result in 10 minutes, and very cheap, less than $1 US. So it means Africa, we have brains, no, contrary to what we have been made to believe that we are stupid, we can't do anything. If you are given a chance to do things, we can do stuff, right?
Of course, we are in equality to any nationality, any race, or any ethnicity on this face of earth. But it's just that out of exploitation, and out of fear, and out of a few greedy leaders that we had, that's why they have worked so much into the Western comfort that they rather go there and then bring whatever waste they produce over there to us than to let us think and then put our wisdom into action. Yes. So that is the only thing that separates us, that our leaders have been so much exploited that they would rather go and bring the garbage than to let us have our own first-hand
solutions.
Solutions. So now, with this situation, where everywhere is locked, everywhere is blocked, you are forced to put your own ideas into practice.
And what do you think, those who are very prepared with their medicine, they were prepared with their vaccine, they are prepared with this and that, how do you think they are feeling now that they see that African can stand on their own, they can bring solution for their own problems? What do you think are they feeling now?
Oh, very, 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 very uncomfortable, very, very, very unhappy, very, very, very angry, and very, very, very sad. And they are, as we speak now, they are back on the drawing board, seeing why and how they were not able to calculate the situation well to be able to exploit it in their favor, but rather found it coming back at them like it has, because there was nothing like the whole world, the whole countries will be going on shutdowns and lockdowns and closing borders and a whole lot, thereby forcing the countrymen and women to try to come out with solutions.
Welcome to Dad.org. Dad.org is a platform for buying and selling anything, anywhere, anytime. So, making money the really, really easy way. In fact, it's easier than falling asleep.
It's swift, secure, and easy. Dad.org, transforming lives.
Rather than waiting for others to come out with their solutions for them. So
And this was a very good equalizer, because the politicians of Africa, they have always been living in Africa but investing and looting the money of the continent and putting it outside here. When they are sick, they go to France, they go to England, they go to America, they go to Singapore, depending on where the inclination is. But now, whether you are a minister or a prime minister or a president, with this lockdown, there was no way of going outside, where if you are sick, you have to die with us. And now, most of this country did not have health facilities. What do you think? Do you think that the African leaders learned their lesson from this, and that perhaps this time now they will be making some change? Because I heard in Ghana, in your own country, Ghana, like the president announced that they will be building care. Others are taking it as a joke. Others are thinking it's a good idea. What do you think?
of course, it has really exposed our African leaders and everyone else. Because in our health infrastructures, it has come to the fore that in Ghana we have 88 districts which have no district hospitals. Yes. So this is one of the things that COVID has exposed. Yes. So that is what led to the president of Ghana's initiative and pronouncement of coming out with this new district hospital agenda, which we are yet to see it in the next year or so.
Do you think he will realize, it is realistic, he will do it?
Of course, he could do something about it, but I'm not very much. It is too early to either say he can't or he could. But let's wait and see, because there were certain promises made during his campaign, and it has been fulfilled.
Okay, whatever he promised, he fulfilled. So he's not a blah 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 president, right?
No, not like the ones we have known in the past. But they will fulfill. He hasn't been able to fulfill 100%, but it is quite a good portion of percentage that he has accrued for the past 3.5 years that he has been in office. So, with the agenda of the district hospital agenda, it is a possibility. It is a possibility, but the will is what could stand in the way of the possibilities.
But he has always been consistent. I think he is one of the few presidents who stands even before these imperialists. I remember a time when he was with the president of France, telling him that the problems of Africa will be solved by Africans. And even when this COVID started, the pressure from his medical specialist, he told them there is no one solution fit to all. The African continent must deal with this problem in the African way and not copy whatever is happening in France or in Brussels or any other places. And I think we can't be proud enough for leaders like the president of Ghana, the president of Tanzania, the one in Rwanda, in Madagascar, and some other parts. Africa is on the rise, right?
Of course, because they have a youth who are informed.
They have youth who are informed. I think today will be ending by that they have a youth who are informed. But before that, I wanted you to tell us now, what do you think? Because the COVID is not finished. We're still hearing some cases and even some other countries which apparently are fabricating even the number of people who are suffering of COVID. Sometimes I don't know what they want to achieve with that. But how should us Africans on the continent and those of us in the diaspora continue trusting this organization, or should Africa start thinking about having their own African health organization, so to speak? Because we're having our own solutions, but when solutions come from Africa, they tend to look down upon them. And sometimes, unfortunately, even our own people do not take them with value, because we thought like people would take these solutions that we've got with joy, especially Africans, but it hasn't been the case. So my question is two in one. How should, what would we advise the African about the solutions from Africa, and what behavior should we have vis-a-vis the World Health Organization and these other so-called international organizations?
Yes, thank you. The solutions to these problems has to be homegrown. These Western solutions have all these years never been the solution, as they call it. It's a solution of no solution. It have never worked. It has never been able to eradicate anything that they said, and all these fabrications all the time going on. So what we need to do as people, that we need to start believing in ourselves and start trying all the solutions that we have there and see which one fits our situation. In the near future, the idea of an African health organization could be the way to go, because we have a different and a unique situation. So we need to deal with it in our own unique way. Because
we've seen the continent of Africa, if I'm not cutting you short, being bombarded with traditional medicine from India, from China, from the West here, and because of religion. I think tomorrow, if you have time, we will talk about the role of religion and colonization, because this channel is here to decolonize our mind. We've seen people running to get things from outside, but because of religion and what we've been taught from the colonizer, we have neglected completely the homegrown solutions, as you're saying. How do we behave? Because we see churches are everywhere, and that these churches which are used to make the colonizer alive without the colonizer.
Yes, it's all. These are all the tools that they have been using and still using them. The only way to go is to find an African solution to the African problem. Whether plant on our soil, we will deal with it in an African way. We will not accept the Western solutions
for a problem they created themselves in the first place.
Yes. So yes, the problems they created to be dealt with on an African continent with a Western solution that will never, and it has never worked for us all these years. Everything that has worked for us has always been an African way. And therefore, that is the only way we all have to go for all angles, be it food, medicine, education, health, whatever. It should be an African solution. Currently, as we speak, most of the population of Ghana who were locked up, who were put on lockdown, realized at the end of the day that the only food that could sustain us were not the Western imported chicken and all these pizzas and all this, but rather our local ugali, local gari, local fufu, and local cassava and yams. They were the only food that could sustain us in these times where you had to be indoors for quite a long time. But so that is the only way to go. The African solution, in one way or the other, any solution African that works for you.
But how do we deal then with this inferiority complex that has been rooted in our DNA, that the African do not value solutions made by other Africans? And I know it might take time, but I hear what you're saying, but it's difficult sometimes to make, because in Ghana, again, there is people like Kantanka making some cars. But you see, if it was in other countries, all the African would have been ordering cars from that country, because we are African, we should consume Africans. But many people would be very hesitant of purchasing these African solutions because of how we've been brought up and the way we've been believing. So as we conclude this, how do we deal with the inferiority complex? Because we've been made to feel inferior, while in reality, if it was about superiority, we are superior because we are the mother of all humanity.
Yes. The problem with inferiority complex and all these problems has been a generational agenda, and it has been perpetuated for
a very long time
or plus years, and therefore it's never going to go away one time, or it's never going to. And one thing that we can also let everybody know is that everybody has to start beginning, those who are in this mindset of emancipation, begin, promote and bring to bear everything that was produced or was discovered or was manufactured during this time out, so that the African in every corner of the continent will know that, oh, I have a brother in Senegal who can produce a test kit which can give me results in 10 minutes. Oh, I have a boy in Ghana who has been able to come out with a solar paneled hand wash with a hand sanitizer, which is only by the shadow of your hand under it, and it starts working to get all viruses or all germs or whatever on your hands off. Oh, somebody can also bring about from Madagascar that the people who came up with the solution for us to get this COVID out were youth involved who brought these ideas, and these were the plants and stuff. So everybody has to come out with everything that was able to and has been able to manufacture, or any innovation that has been able to brought to bear during this time, so that the African will believe in himself and knows that nothing in this time was brought from outside which could show positive in a good and in purpose.
And document everything that people have been doing, and I've been just in university these few years, and I've been trying to document and bring to light some of the things that people are doing on the continent of Africa. Today everybody is talking about the mobile money, the mobile pay everywhere in the world, but they don't tell us that this is an African creation just made on our continent by black young people like ourselves. So we need to start highlighting things like this.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, thank you so much, my brother, and it was nice having you. So let's see if we can join hands together and continue doing what we have to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.